Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me on this session about how to buy your first NFT. Couple of housekeeping points. I am doing this on a piece of software that is not Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube, where you might be watching this. So I'd love you to give me a comment that you can hear me and that everything is working fine. And just to say, the comments take about 10 seconds to come through. So throughout the talk, if you have any questions, it'll be about 10 seconds before I can get to an answer. Another piece of housekeeping, this talk is a little longer than I was expecting, so I'm not sure how much time we're going to have at the end for questions, but please feel free to send them through and I will get through as many questions as I can at the end. I think that's a good start, so let's get into this. Thanks, Lindsay. I see that you can hear me. Great. Okay, that's me. So my name is Esther Koforogli. I'm a product manager and a tech creator. And by tech creator, what I mean is I work in tech by day, but by night, I kind of use tech to create things that I'm interested in, things that I'm passionate about. And definitely NFTs are something I've gotten into in that creative space. And in my last session, I introduced exactly what NFTs are, why I'm excited about them, and why I think you might be interested in them. But in this session, we're going to look at buying NFTs and the process that it is, and we'll get into that more. This session split up into about 5 sections. So we'll start with some starting points, just some key information. Next, we'll go into how wallets work. A third stage will be actually getting an NFT wallet. And then the fourth step is sending money to your wallet. And then the fifth step is actually buying the NFT. But before we start, I want to give some context. I was supposed to give this talk about 2 weeks ago, I think now. My computer broke, so that delayed me. But in addition, when I was preparing the presentation, I realized just how ridiculous the NFT space is right now. I'm super passionate about the space, but we are so early in this technology that there are still many, many inconvenient hoops that you have to jump through to get anything done. This is one of the earliest computers, the Elliott NRDC 401 computer MK1 from about 1953. And early computers from this time were large, expensive machines used exclusively by military scientists and university staff. Computers like this one could span 4 meters in length and weigh over a ton. They were pretty cumbersome. We are at a very similar stage with Web3 right now. The NFT market is barely 4 years old. It is in its infancy, and it is having growing pains. Firstly, it's expensive. Well, at least the Ethereum blockchain is expensive. There are arguably cheaper blockchains, but Ethereum dominates. It's exclusive. According to some estimates, October saw a high of 2 million active NFT wallets. That's which means that an estimated 0.00025% of the world's population has access to the NFT space right now. To put that in context, approximately 59.5% of the world's population has access to the internet. So you'll hear this a lot. If you are in the NFT space right now, even just exploring it, you are really, really early. And lastly, it's cumbersome. As you will see over the course of this workshop, compared to buying almost anything else in the world, on the internet, via an e-commerce site, buying an NFT is cumbersome and frustrating. All that being said, I am personally very optimistic and excited about NFTs and broad blockchain space. I believe that they will impact our future in ways that we can barely imagine right now. And I believe that there is value in being early, especially for builders and creators. So with that being said, let's jump in. So some starting points. What are NFTs? Well, I covered this in my last workshop. If you are still at the stage where you are asking this question, what I would advise is pausing here and come back to this video later. I'll leave the replays online. Head over to my LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube later today or later in the week, and you'll be able to find the previous session, and it covers this topic. And it was titled An Introduction to the World of NFTs. So yeah, check that out if you still have this question. Okay, the first thing that we must establish is that NFTs and other crypto assets are stored on the blockchain. It's important to note that although you will download applications to your devices, your NFTs won't be stored on your phone or your computer. NFTs and other crypto assets are stored on the blockchain. And there are various blockchains. So here are 4 of them: Ethereum, Solana, Tezos, Polygon. These are blockchains. And any blockchain that supports smart contracts, as we discussed in the last session, can thereby support NFTs, and these 4 do. Okay, sorry, my slides are jumping around. Give me a second. Okay, each blockchain has its own cryptocurrency. So on the Ethereum blockchain, you use ETH. On the Solana blockchain, you use Sol. On the Tezos blockchain, you use Tez. And on the Polygon blockchain, you use Matic for the most part. So you may already have a cryptocurrency wallet like Coinbase, but to buy NFTs, you will need an NFT wallet, which is a special kind of crypto wallet that supports NFTs. Furthermore, to transact on the different blockchains that I mentioned, you need different wallets. So if you want to transact on the Ethereum blockchain, you need a wallet. One example of an Ethereum blockchain supported wallet is MetaMask, and you can see some other ones for the other blockchains. So we've covered the basics. So let's see how wallets work. NFT wallets are software used to communicate with blockchain networks to safely access, send, and receive NFTs. Your wallet provides access to your assets, which are held on the blockchain. It does so by providing a private key to that address on the blockchain, which allows the wallet owner to authorize transactions. So here is how you should conceptually think about the different elements of a wallet. And I'll break them down here. So you've got the blockchain itself, you've got your wallet app, your public key, your private key, and your seed phrase. And I must give credit to the YouTuber Crypto Casey for this analogy. There are many analogies, but this is the one I think makes the most sense when you're trying to break it down. So let's go through each of these individually. So the blockchain is like your it keeps a record of all of your assets and your transactions. Your NFT wallet app is like your online banking app. It allows you to access and manage your assets. The public key, also known as your wallet address, is like a bank account number. It is unique to you, and if a third party gets access to it, they can only send things to you. They cannot access or manage your assets. Another analogy I like for the public key is your email address. We share our email addresses pretty freely in the knowledge that they can only accept incoming things. No one can kind of hack our email just by having our email address. And a public key is pretty much the same. Your private key is like your online banking login credentials. You would never share these with anyone because the only person who should be able to access and control your assets is you. And then lastly, your seed phrase, sometimes called your secret recovery phrase or your secret recovery credentials. This is a thing that if you were ever to lose access to your assets, these credentials allow you to get back in. So these are the different elements of the wallet, and they're all really important. And I hope that kind of you understand the different elements, and feel free to go back to this video to kind of revise them, if you will. So the first thing we must do, establish, now you understand how a wallet works, let's look at the different kinds of wallets. And there's a lot of information, so as I said, please feel free to go back and review this later. So the two important categories of wallet are hot storage and cold storage wallets. Wallets that offer hot storage are software wallets like the mobile apps and browser plugins that you may have come across and that we're going to go through later in this session. They stay connected to the internet and allow you to transact quickly and easily. The key point here is that your private key is stored on an internet-connected device. Cold storage is often considered safer because there's physical separation between your private key and the internet. Your private key remains disconnected from the internet unless you plug in the device to a computer that is internet enabled, and you need to enter the passkey as well. So this makes certain forms of misappropriation of your NFTs less likely. However, there are still risks when the device is connected to the internet, but fewer risks. So yeah, you have the option of both hot and cold storage. I currently use hot storage wallets. I am looking into getting a cold storage wallet because some of the NFTs I now have, I want to keep for long term, and we'll get into that in a bit later on. But I think both are good options. If you're a beginner, a hot storage wallet is completely fine, and then you make the decision to move later. The only thing I'd say about starting with hot storage is you pay a relatively small transaction fee to move NFTs from your hot storage wallet to your cold storage wallet, but it's not that much, but it's still something to bear in mind. It's something more to bear in mind if you're buying super expensive NFTs. But if you want to start with a cold storage wallet, I don't think that's a bad idea. If you can see yourself having kind of a long-term future in the NFT space and buying things that you really want to invest in the long term. Okay, so there are two main kinds of hot storage wallets. Mobile wallets are accessed via smartphone apps. They're easily downloadable and you can use them super quickly. They're great for kind of on-the-go access. I've bought NFTs at a restaurant table while I was out, so it enables you to kind of do things on the go like that. And then desktop wallets are the second kind. They are software programs downloaded and installed directly on your PC or laptop. The private keys are input into this software and they never leave the original machine that they're downloaded onto. Another thing to say about these, desktop wallets are generally browser plugins. So if you go to a browser plugin store or the wallet website, that's how you can kind of get the browser plugin and be able to use your wallet. But we'll get into all of that later. In this section, which is how to get an NFT wallet. And I'm going to take you step by step through the process of installing a software wallet. I think I said before that cold storage wallets are considered safer, but definitely don't be scared of using a software wallet, but you do need to be careful. You'll generally be fine with a software wallet. There's not a huge risk of getting hacked or anything like that. The risk actually really lies in social engineering attacks. What sometimes happens is if you're online, on Twitter or on a Discord server, someone maybe shares a fraudulent link that looks like an NFT website. And when you use it, unwittingly you give someone access to your private key. So you just have to be cautious. Another scam that people sometimes have encountered is that they have had a problem with an NFT website or even their wallet. And sometimes you'll get people reaching out to you claiming to be OpenSea, claiming to be MetaMask, claiming to be an NFT project, and they'll try and help you, or they'll act like they're trying to help you to get connected. But what they're actually trying to get you to do is to share your private keys. And one of the key ways that I've heard of this being done is they'll get you to say, oh, this is really hard. It's better if we share screen. And when you share your screen, they can see what's happening. And if they see your credentials, then they can potentially get into your account. So a lot of caution is currently needed in the NFT space. These I would say are the three most popular wallets on the Ethereum blockchain. I think they're equally good, to be honest. MetaMask, Rainbow, and Coinbase Wallet. I've tested all three, and they pretty much work the same, same levels of support and things like that. The only thing I will say as a Brit is that Rainbow doesn't support direct deposits from the UK, so you have to transfer currency for a crypto wallet. But Rainbow has a really strong team, so I think it's still a really good option. Okay, so let's go through the steps. The first step is to install and open the app on your phone. And we're going with MetaMask for this run through. And you'll see these are the first kind of promotion explanation screens that MetaMask will display to you. Next, you create a password. And if you notice here at the bottom, it says, I understand that MetaMask cannot recover this password for me. And essentially it says that because this app or the credentials only exist on your phone. The MetaMask team don't hold a big database with everyone's credentials. You take care of your own credentials. You maintain them yourself. So this is why there's a lot of responsibility managing things in this space, and it is down to you. Okay, so remember we spoke earlier about your seed phrase or your secret recovery phrase. That's where we are now. If you forget your password or otherwise lose access to your account, or you need to install your account on another device, this is the only way to do it. This is the only way to get back into your account. The secret recovery phrase, sometimes known as a seed phrase, is a list of, depending on the platform, 12 or 16 or sometimes 14 random words. To set up your account and recover your account, you'll need to type in the words in the order that they're displayed in the setup process. What people are generally advised to do is to write down your seed phrase or your secret recovery phrase somewhere. Some people advise you not to hold these in a password manager. I think I'm in two minds whether that's good advice, but I think I'm leaning more towards not holding it in a password manager. Some people advocate for writing them down and splitting the list in half and storing them in 2 or more locations. I don't think that's the best approach, because if you lose one half, you can't access your account. What I think is best is to store a complete copy of your seed phrase somewhere hidden in your home where you can relatively easily find it or access it. And then maybe put a second complete copy somewhere like a bank safety deposit box. So if you lose the one in your home, you have a backup. But it's preferable, I think, generally speaking, not to have these on an internet connected device. So when you go through these screens and you click to view, on the next screen, when you click continue, you'll be asked to type or enter in your secret recovery phrase, and just to confirm that you've seen it and you've noted it down. Once that's done, congratulations, you now have a wallet. And there is a second way to do this. So we talked about, there's the app, the mobile version, and then there's the desktop version or laptop version. The process is much the same for browser-based wallets. You go to the wallet app website, so MetaMask website, for example, and click to install. Then you click to add the browser plugin to your browser. If you already have a wallet, you can use your secret recovery phrase to access that existing wallet so that you can transact on that second device. So you've had it on your phone, you want to now move to your computer. And some NFT platforms actually only support browsers at this time. So if you are involved in a mint or something like that, you might need to have it on your desktop to even be able to get that NFT. Or else you can set up a new account, just as we did in the previous example. So just as before, you set up your password, you note down your seed phrase or secret recovery phrase, and set up your account. We won't go through all this again, but feel free to use the mobile app process that we just did to remind yourself of the process, and you can see that on the replay. Okay, so we've set up our wallets now. Now we'll send some money to your wallet. That is the next step. You need cryptocurrency to buy NFTs. Okay, so in most NFT wallets, you can actually buy cryptocurrency directly in the app. So you click buy and you can basically connect your debit card or I think maybe your bank account in some cases, and you can transact like that. Most of them have like a maximum amount that you can transact on a daily basis. So you might find it easier, and most people do, to send from another crypto wallet. So like your Coinbase wallet, for example. Okay. On most wallets, your public key or wallet address is displayed quite prominently right at the top there. And all you need to do is just tap on it to copy it. As you can see there, all Ethereum wallets start with OX. Yeah, once that's copied, head over to your crypto wallet. Mine is Coinbase, and that's what I'm going to use to show you the process. So you select the option in Coinbase to send crypto. So it's this one right here. And the next step is to select the currency you need. In this case, we're going to get some Ethereum to buy an NFT. You enter the amount that you want to send. You can enter the amount either in ETH or your local fiat currency. Mine is pounds, obviously. And as we will see shortly, Ethereum gas prices are currently ridiculously high. So if an NFT costs, say, 0.05 ETH, I will put about 0.07 ETH in my NFT wallet to be able to purchase it. And the last time I gave this talk, a couple of, I guess, just over a month or two ago, I was advising 0.06 ETH if the NFT was 0.05 ETH. So I think that just shows how bad all of this is getting, but this is what we're doing. So the key that you copied earlier from your NFT wallet, you now paste it in Coinbase or whichever crypto wallet you're using to be able to send to that wallet address, that public key. And then you just review the transaction and click send now. So that is how you send money from a crypto wallet to an NFT wallet. Relatively simple, but if it's your first time, it's not a bad thing to go over this process again and just make sure you understand. I think one of the reasons I'm running this session is I'm the kind of person I like to see step by step how something's going to work before I do it. So yeah, I hope you're finding this helpful. Okay, now on to where you can buy NFTs. So firstly, you can find out about new NFTs on social platforms such as Twitter, Clubhouse, and Discord servers. You can find out about new NFTs on NFT calendars like the ones listed, also on NFT marketplaces such as OpenSea, Rarible, and Foundation. And there's also some rarity analysis tools, and I covered this in the last session, but different NFTs in a large collection have different levels of rarity, and there's some websites, tools that allow you to kind of analyze the rarity and try and find something really rare at a good price. And they will generally have a list of NFTs that are upcoming, NFTs that are minted but not revealed, and so on. So they can be a good source for finding future and current NFTs. Okay, so there are three main places where you can buy NFTs. For a large-scale NFT project, for example, a release of a 10K generative collection, the project team will create a minting website. And to explain that in a bit more depth, what they are creating is a DApp, D-A-P-P, a decentralized application. And this is an application that can interact with the blockchain. The website is the packaging, if you will, the kind of facing interface for the DApp. And your wallet interacts with the DApp, as we will see shortly. And when the project goes live, a minting page will appear on the website and you can buy an NFT via that page. And just a quick reminder, I covered this in the last session, but minting just means to put something on a blockchain. So before an NFT is minted, it doesn't yet exist on the blockchain. The second place where you can buy NFTs is an NFT marketplace. The vast majority of NFTs on NFT marketplaces have been minted by someone else. So these platforms largely act as secondary marketplaces where an NFT owner can sell on their NFTs to someone else. But that being said, some artists will mint on to these marketplaces, and I wouldn't say there's even like a quality difference between minting on a marketplace or minting by a website DApp. It's just, I guess, sometimes smaller artists will mint on marketplaces, but you can find some really good collections on them. The last place you can buy an NFT is by directly interacting with the smart contracts. And this takes a bit more know-how, but it's not super complicated. I won't be taking you through this process today, but I may do it in a future session. Okay, let's buy some NFTs. Okay. Okay, we'll start with a marketplace purchase. If you can, feel free to follow along with me on another device or in another browser window. You can step through the process and stop when it comes to the stage where you're actually making a payment. So first of all, go to the browser in the wallet app or your desktop wallet where you have the NFT, where you have the wallet plugin installed. And just a quick point, so this is MetaMask, and in MetaMask you have your wallet, and that shows the cryptocurrency and any NFTs that are in your wallet, and it has a browser. That browser connects to dApps, as I mentioned earlier. So if you go to a normal Chrome or Safari browser on your phone, you won't be able to interact with the dApp and conduct a transaction. You have to do it through a wallet browser. So similarly with Rainbow, there'll be a browser in there, and Coinbase Wallet, there'll be a browser in there. So the first step is to go to the browser in your wallet app or your desktop wallet, and yeah, just click to open the OpenSea in this case. So you go to OpenSea and go to the NFT that you want to buy. So this is a collection called Afrodroids by Owo. Owo is a Nigerian designer who released a 12.1K collection a little earlier this year. Just a couple of things to point out. So this blue check mark means that the project is verified, and projects achieve verification by achieving, I think it's 100 ETH in trading volume. I think that's the current cutoff. They may raise it, they may lower it, but I think that's what it currently is. When you buy any project or artist, I would advise you to kind of do a bit of due diligence. So what that looks like is checking out their Twitter, just making sure they're, I don't say legit, but make sure they're real at least, and Discord if they have one. What you're trying to do is ensure that the listing is genuine. So what sometimes happens is people will see a popular NFT project and they'll just copy and paste the images, upload it separately, and fraudulently claim to be the original NFTs. They're not. There's usually a couple of giveaways, and the more you operate in the space, the more you realize what is true and what is fake. But a blue check mark can help. For smaller or emerging artists, always check their Twitter. Don't click on random links you find online. Go to the Twitter or the Discord and click on the links that the creator has provided. That'd be my best advice. So yeah, select the NFT that you want to buy, and then scroll down and click Buy Now. Next, you click Confirm Checkout. And as you will see here, we need to, okay. The next step is to review the gas, and we need to actually go in a bit closer. So if you see here, the NFT costs, if we jump back on, 0.0099 ETH, which is about £30, and that's pretty low. But gas, if you look here, estimated gas fee is over £100. which is, I guess, yeah, more than, I guess, 3 times the cost of the NFT. These gas screenshot prices were taken over the course of a minute. So you can see gas is fluctuating. So it's 113 to begin with, then it's 129, then it goes all the way up to 143. Gas can also go down. So if I'd stayed on for a few more minutes, I might have found gas lowering to anything to 80 or lower. I think in recent days, the last week or so, the lowest I've seen gas is around the high 60s in terms of pounds and equivalent in other currencies. So right now, if you're buying a relatively low priced NFT, you'll always pay more in gas, sadly. And gas doesn't go to the artist. The gas fee goes to the miner or the node authorizing the transaction on the blockchain. And yeah, this is one of those crazy elements of the NFT space or the Web3 space. We wouldn't accept this, I don't think, paying more than the cost of an item to Visa or MasterCard or any other payment platform. But as I said, the NFT space is so early that inefficiencies and kind of illogical things like this are kind of par for the course right now. And that's on the Ethereum blockchain specifically. Other blockchains, gas is much more reasonable, but Ethereum is the most popular at the moment. So you review the gas. If you're happy with the gas, and happy in inverted commas, definitely, you can confirm the transaction. So next, you will click confirm on when you come back to this screen, and you wait for a few minutes because blockchain or Ethereum transactions are not instant. And after a minute or so, it's usually about a minute, congratulations, you now own an NFT. So that was the process on OpenSea and NFT Marketplace. And we're going to look at a minting website next. And for these, you can go to an NFT project website on the day of the drop and mint via the website. Some drops get sold out in a matter of minutes, others can take days. And you can assess what you will by whether they sell out or they take some time. But I will say that the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT drop, which is obviously one of the most significant, it took actually, I think, a few days to sell out, and now the floor price is in the hundreds of thousands. So do with that information what you will. If anyone, I think I've mentioned this before, but if anyone offers to help you to buy an NFT, just remember, do not share your seed phrase and do not share your screen with them. So you can go to any site, but the project that we will be using for this demo is an NFT project that's currently minting called Women Rise, and the URL for that one is womenrise.art. So when you're at a website, you can click mint. There'll be a mint button somewhere, either on a front page, actually almost always on the front page. So you click the mint button. It says there, click to mint. Sometimes it will just say mint. Okay, so next step is to select the wallet that you want to use for the transaction. So if you have multiple wallets, just pick the one that you want to use. And I'm going to repeat this, but like I said, you have to be cautious in this space. Remember not to connect your wallet to any website you don't trust. In this case, I double verified this URL on the Women Rise Twitter account, as well as their Discord server. Sometimes on drop day for a new project, scammers will enter a Discord and they'll either try to DM you a fake link to a fraudulent site, or they might put it in a general chat. I think you need to be really cautious. And as I said in my last session, lock your Discord DMs. No one really needs to DM you on Discord, and it's a good way to keep yourself safe. So you click to connect your wallet. And then for most kind of large scale drops, you can mint a number of NFTs. So you select the number of NFTs that you want and then click buy. They'll have a maximum. So most projects, they won't let you mint more than 20. It's generally kind of 10 or 5 in most of the projects I've looked at recently. And you review the transaction details as we did before with the mobile version when we did the OpenSea example. Again, let's get in a bit closer, see the detail. And as you can see here, in this case, I think gas is a little lower than the actual price of the NFT. The NFT is 0.07, gas is 0.03, so it's lower, but it's still significant. If you click the edit button on this first screen, you can actually go in and try to edit the gas fee. As you can see, this project, they advise you not to, because they've set the gas fee to what they feel it needs to be in order to get a successful transaction. I know if you watch other videos and other people, you see them give advice on editing the gas fee and how to optimize. I am going to do more research in that area, and I encourage you to as well. But I think there's just 2 pointers on why you should be cautious before you start messing around with these screens. And I'm talking about these screens in this screen. This is a screenshot of the top and the bottom of this of the edit screen. If you set gas too low, the transaction won't go through, but you will still pay for the gas fee for the failed transaction. So let's say this is the gas fee, the estimated gas fee. You change these options and you get it down to say 72, let's say. If you process, if you send that transaction through and there's not enough money to process the transaction, that 72 will be spent and you won't get that back and you won't get the NFT. So you need to be careful with amending gas fees in this way. And another thing, when you're kind of in a big drop, so like a 10K drop, as I mentioned, if you set the gas fee too low, the drop will be sold out before your transaction is prioritized. So I've seen drops sell out in under 10 minutes. And if you set your gas too low, your transaction could be successful, but it will be outside of the window of available NFTs for that collection. So you risk transaction being processed too slowly, and essentially you'll miss out on that NFT. So I think there's probably some good things you can read and watch about kind of gas efficiency, but just be cautious if you're a beginner, let's say. Okay, so if you're happy with gas, and I guess, again, happy in inverted commas, click confirm, wait a few minutes, and then congratulations, you now own an NFT. Okay, so you can view your NFTs via your wallet on OpenSea, via your wallet or on OpenSea. If you've bought an NFT from a very large PFP or collectible collection, you'll probably get a placeholder image. The actual NFT you bought will only be revealed once the collection sells out or on a reveal date set by the creators. So that's something to bear in mind. And it's not a big deal. I think they usually will set it so that it will be revealed on sellout. And if it doesn't sell out straight away, they'll usually give it like a day. That's kind of the average I've seen. And then they'll reveal the NFT that you've bought. Okay, now it's time for questions. So whatever platform you're on, feel free to add in questions and I will get to them shortly. I'm just going to check the Google forms that I put together to collect questions, and I'll be right back. Give me a minute. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm going to go through the questions now. Okay, so some questions I can't necessarily answer today, but I'll let you know where you can find the information. Um, Someone asked where you can find the other talk. I think so. My name is right at the top of the slide to the right here, and if you go there, if you go to that Twitter handle, you'll find I think the last talk pinned to the top, or if you scroll down a bit on my feed, you'll find it. It's also on my LinkedIn. So if you type my name into LinkedIn, it's one of my most recent posts. And it should be, actually, no, I'm going to upload it to YouTube at some point this week. I didn't live broadcast it to YouTube last time. But also, I will send it in the email. So in the email that I send out after this session to anyone who signed up via Eventbrite, I will add the links from last session as well as the links for this session. And if you can't find it by any of the means, feel free to DM me on any of the platforms and I will send you the links. Someone said, I presume not all NFTs are viable. How can one tell which projects to buy or avoid? Okay, so I will be very honest, this is not my area of expertise in terms of making money from NFTs. But what I will say is the NFT market right now, the most similar thing is that you should compare it to is the art market. And as you can imagine, there's a Banksy, and then there's hundreds of other really talented artists whose work won't appreciate in value massively, but whose work you can enjoy, and you can enjoy. And I think, to be honest, you should take that approach with the NFT market. Buy artists whose work you like, and maybe though that work will appreciate in value. If you're coming into the NFT space to make money, there are ways to do that. I mentioned earlier the rarity analysis websites, and what some people do is they will look there to find rare NFTs in a collection, and sometimes those NFTs are more valuable than others, but maybe the person who currently holds it doesn't realize that. So you can buy that NFT for a relatively good price and sell it for a higher price. So it is possible to make money, but you have to really learn the space. You have to really understand the dynamics of maybe the art market first, and then the NFT market as a kind of corollary of the art market. And then with that knowledge, you can start making informed choices. But yeah, that's what I would advise on that point. Yeah, I think J.R. Dawkins made some good points. Yeah, do your research. That's what you'll hear a million times in the NFT space. Review their website, their document, their roadmap. I think, and I say this with love and as a fiction writer myself, some roadmaps are works of fiction. They are either ambitions or stories that the creator of the NFT project wants to tell. So I would take most roadmaps with a grain of salt. What you really have to do is look at the roadmap and think to yourself, can the team behind the NFT project deliver on this roadmap, given how ambitious it is? And for those who don't know what a roadmap is, big NFT projects, the 10K projects, they will have on their website a list of things that they intend to do if/when or despite whether their NFT project sells out. So as you can imagine, some of these 10K projects, they're making $1 million, $2 million pounds or dollars when they sell out. And they'll say, okay, so our next step is we will give you an airdrop of another NFT. We will create a place in the metaverse where you can take the character that you've bought and enjoy a metaverse experience. These are the kind of things sometimes they promise games and things, and you just have to gauge how realistic you think that is. I'm going to pause for a second and I'll be right back again. Okay. Someone asked a question. I minted an NFT, but now I think it was a rug pull. How do you identify rug pulls? So rug pulls are essentially I guess it's two things. It's a cash grab. So a rug pull NFT project is an NFT project where all they want to do is get your money. They're not really interested in giving you kind of anything, any value for that NFT project. So for example, a rug pull might look like they sell out a project. And I told you about those kind of holding images that are supposed to be revealed as your real NFT. So whichever one in the collection you actually bought. A rug pull might look like they never reveal and all you have is that holding image. Um, Rug pulls are sometimes used to describe projects that overpromise and underdeliver. So they'll say they're going to create a game, but a couple of days later, you can't find any trace of any of the NFT creators on the internet. This is why I think it's so important to buy an NFT because you like the art, because you like the NFT, because you have confidence in the creators, because you've done your own research, rather than to make money. I think I'm definitely tending towards the smaller projects and the more emerging creators who I can see having longevity. People who would flourish in the kind of mainstream art market if they were given a chance, but because maybe they're from more disadvantaged backgrounds, they don't have the same opportunities. The NFT space is giving them kind of a leg up. And I think I'm preferring those collections over these huge 10K collections that promise you the moon and don't really fulfill that promise. Okay, so I think that's the questions on the chat. If you have more questions, please feel free to add them to YouTube or LinkedIn. You can tweet me directly and I'll keep an eye there. But I'm going to answer some of the questions that came through prior to the session in the Google form that I shared. Okay, so let's have a look. Where did it go? Ah, yeah, here it is. Okay, what's NFT really about? As I said, I covered that in my first session. How do I get artwork on NFT platforms? I'm doing a session next Wednesday that covers that. So if you see here, an intro to NFTs for artists and designers, and we'll be going through that next Wednesday. So definitely sign up for that. Resources on identifying high potential NFTs, how to reduce gas fees, where to store NFTs. So I've been through some of this in the talk. I think, yeah, I've been through all of these in the talk actually. So if the person asked that question, please have feel free to rewind or look at the replay and see the answers I've given to those. Someone asked how to buy, which we covered today. What this person asked, what will make me money and what's just hype? Are there any hidden fees? There are no hidden fees in the NFT space. They're all very open. They're just very high. So at least on the Ethereum blockchain. So that needs to be said. What will make me money? I mean, I might do a session on trading NFTs in future if people are interested in this topic. But what I will say is I find that really high quality projects are the ones that kind of tend to appreciate in value, or at least in the short term. So if there's kind of really, really great 3D art, really great kind of motion graphics, these are pieces of art that are making use of the digital medium in a way that they couldn't in real life. And I think those projects tend to just have a more sense of value in the NFT space. The second way to look at to assess whether a project can appreciate is looking at the artist. So as I said before, if there's an artist that you can see having a future, being in this sort of long term, creating more work, creating essentially a brand for themselves, that's the sort of thing that can lead to a project increasing in value. People always say this, and I kind of am a bit reluctant to use the word, but people say community. An NFT project that has a thriving community around it has the potential to appreciate in value. So yeah, those are some pointers. Okay, I think those are the questions that I haven't covered, I received early. Okay, I think that's it. I'll give a couple more seconds for more questions. While I do, I will say, trying to get to, okay, cool. See, as I said, I'm doing another workshop next week, which is all about NFTs for artists and designers. I should have probably put creators as well. So if you're interested in creating NFT and you're not a designer, like me, I'm a writer, please do come to the session because we'll be covering different ways that different open NFTs. There's things like collaborating with a designer. There's NFTs that are not kind of works of fine art, but because they give utility, as I covered in my last session, they are creators of NFTs, but they're not art NFTs. They are essentially utility NFTs, as I described them in that last session. I definitely encourage you guys to follow me on Twitter, not because I want lots of followers, but because I'm curating NFTs there, and I'm always happy to answer questions about NFTs in the broader Web3 and blockchain space. I think what I will say is also, I covered this in the last session, but one of the best ways to learn about NFT space right now is by joining Twitter spaces, in particular, Clubhouse rooms as well, but I tend to side with Twitter. And if I'm in a Twitter space, I'll either share it or sometimes you can tell from my profile which one I'm in. And that's a good way to start discovering places where you can learn more. I'll be doing more sessions, but I definitely want you to kind of go out there and do your own research as well. And it looks like there are no more questions. So all I can say is, not that. I'm trying to get to the last slide. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for everyone who joined the session. I just love talking about NFTs, and I am grateful to everyone who came, and I look forward to some of you joining me for the next session. So this replay will be on Twitter, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. So if you want to go through anything again, just go to the replay and run it back so that you can hopefully learn some more. Thanks once again, and hopefully I'll see you in the next session.